So self-incompatibility will also promote cross-pollination. Last one, the stigma is located. So stigma is located above the anthers. Understand? So this is always your cross-pollination. Now the next one is, which one actually increase GV? Only cross? Your head. Both also increase GV. Do you know why? Do you know why this one also will not produce genetically identical offsprings? Because it's a, yes, I know it's sexual reproduction. So to make gametes, what process must you undergo? Meiosis. So again, what's the two things that happen in meiosis that will increase GV? Satu, dua. First one is what? Crossing between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosome, something like that. Okay, so this again, crossing over between homologous chromosomes. Another one, independent. Just need to tell me crossing over of homologous chromosome. The other one is independent. Sort of homologous chromosomes. So for example, we have male and father and maternal chromosomes. It doesn't mean all the paternal chromosomes will always face one side. It's a random assortment. Okay? So that's why meiosis, we have two things that will help you increase your genetic variation in your offspring. One is called crossing over between homologous chromosomes. The other one is called independent assortment. So I'll just write here. If you want, you can actually write in your notes. Alright, there's self-pollination and cross-pollination will increase GV because self-pollination and cross-pollination, number one, they both undergo what we call your meiosis. During meiosis, I said already, we have the first one, which is crossing over, okay, between this non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosome. So crossing over occurs. Number two, we have independent assortment of homologous chromosomes. So that's why the gametes I form usually are never identical with each other. Okay? So this is the ones, they both increase GV, but which one has a greater genetic variation? Kayla? Cross-pollination. Understand? Now, ready? So what is the advantage of having cross-pollination over this self-pollination? Chloe? What's the way we write? What's the advantage of cross-pollination over your self-pollination that we tend to write? I want the full way you write for exam. Increasing chances of a species, especially during what? Changes in environmental conditions. Can you tell me, dear Alyssa, what's the second advantage where cross-pollination is more advantageous than self-pollination? And viable? What do you mean by more viable seeds? Because, what can we say? Sorry, what I say? Why? What's the way that I asked you to write instead? Yeah, the seeds, right, that you actually scatter, okay, after your fertilization, okay, we're actually better able to survive prior to your germination. They survive longer. Understand? Alright? Self-pollination, however, is also advantageous, right? So you can name me one advantage.
Not depend on external
Agents of pollination. Yes, you don't depend on your wind or even your insect, so you have higher chances of successful pollination. So this is the first advantage. Second advantage of self, only require one parent. So you don't need to require two parents. Understand? So that's why you save energy and resources. Clear? Clear? Now, ready? Cross-pollination, you have two agents, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. First difference between your insect pollinated flower and wind pollinated flower. By the way, can you tell me an example of an insect pollinated flower? I'm sure you celebrate Valentine's Day before. You are from a girls' school, so it's what? Yes. Give me an example of a wind-pollinated flower. Yes. If you cannot remember the Ischamum muticum, then you think about dandelion. Okay, enough time to think. What's the first difference?
The petals of a wind-pollinated plant has small and dull.
Small and dull. Whereas the insect-pollinated flower?
Large and colored.
Why? To?
Attract insects.
Okay, so usually the wind is in the form of bracts, so it's small and dull, whereas the insect-pollinated flower, petals usually we describe large and again brightly colored to attract insects. Second difference. Did you say petals again? No more already. Move on. Move on, dear. For which one? Wind-pollinated flower has large and feathery stigma. What's the way you write to increase? To catching. Okay, what is this insect then? Stigma. And why? That pollen grains that land on it will not get easily this what? Like metal and halogen can undergo this? Yeah, okay. What's another difference? Which one? So you'll say protrude and pendulous, okay? Why must be pendulous? And release in presence of? Okay, where's the insect? Compact. And does not protrude or protrude? Typically does not protrude, right? Agree? So again, can you tell me? How about another difference? Let me call Miss Quack. Yes? Sorry, give me a moment. Need to call and wake this lady up. Okay. Sorry, what you say? Huh? Okay.
Pollen grain is
Pollen grain for your which one? Wind or your insect?
wind pollination.
So wind pollination is? So the pollen grains are
Small.
smooth.
Small.
Smooth and start with the B, which I say must always use the B word. Smooth and buoyant. Why must be smooth and why must be buoyant? So it may carried
By the wind.
by the currents of the wind. Where's the insect there?
Is rough.
Oh, okay. So they have rough surfaces. What?
To cling.
Onto the bodies of the. Yes, understand? Okay, come on, continue. We still got one more. We also have your this.
Oh, because the wind pollinated flower doesn't have a scent.
So wind pollinated flower, no scent. Whereas your this insect pollinated. What else? Got the food for the insects is what?
Nectar.
Nectar. So your this insect pollinated flower usually have nectar and nectar. Nectar guides are like the roadmap towards the nectary inside, whereas the wind pollinated don't have nectar. Understand? So please know the difference. And now last one that we need to take note of, okay, in your this reproduction in plants, besides your this pollination, is my this fertilization. But fertilization is unique, right? So let's see whether you recall. In fertilization, again, let's say we have a pollen grain that happens to land on your this stigma, alright? So when your pollen grains actually germinate, alright, this is where you can kickstart with your this fertilization process. But let's go through in detail first. Within the pollen grains, what do they contain, dear? Within pollen grains, what do I contain? So we have your two types of nucleus, right? So let's try. First one is called what? So vegetative nucleus is another name. What's the vegetative nucleus name? Pollen tube nucleus. Understand? We also have, just now she mentioned the generative nucleus. My question is, which one is the one that will actually divide to form male gametes? Generative nucleus. Okay, then the question is, can you tell me, let's describe 1, 2, 3, 4 whenever we want to describe, okay, how your this male gametes eventually fuse with the female gamete. The female gamete is the ovum here. So can I ask, dear, what is the way that we typically describe how does your this pollen grain germinate? When it lands on stigmas, stigmas, sugary fluid that will cause of pollen grain. Pollen grain. So what actually dictates or controls the growth of the pollen tube? It's quite generic. The vegetative nucleus. So the vegetative nucleus, how does it actually grow the pollen tube? So let's say your vegetative nucleus is always in front, right? So how does it actually grow your pollen tube? It secretes enzymes that will digest tissues of the, what is this? Stigma and? Okay, so again, how does your this vegetative nucleus, okay, grow your this pollen tube? It secretes that will
digest the tissues of
stigma and. So that's why your pollen tube will actually grow. As your pollen tube grow, your this vegetative nucleus will start to disintegrate, right? What will happen to your generative nucleus? Form what? Two male gametes. Understand? So when they actually form these two male gametes, they will approach the ovule via what? Because this entire thing is called your ovule, right? So how will they approach the ovule? What is this location here? At the micropyle. So you enter your ovule via the micropyle. How? Describe. Because it will, the pollen tube will absorb what? The cell set, and it will to actually allow your this two male gamete to enter your ovule. Okay? So let's say this two male gamete enters the ovule. My question is, the first male gamete, what will it fuse? So the first male gamete that I have will fuse with what? So you'll fuse with the ovum, and what will I first form? Zygote. Okay? Second male gamete, can you tell me, Chloe, fuse with what? Sorry? Okay, so you're this polar nuclei. And what will I form? So you will form an endosperm nucleus. Understand? What's the purpose of the endosperm nucleus here? It's actually eventually will develop to form the endosperm, which will serve as food storage for the seed. Understand? Because the seed, right, if you want to grow, is unable to actually photosynthesize what? Since there's still absence of your these leaves, right? Agree? By the way, quick one. 1, 2, 3. Name me the 3 cells that can actually undergo photosynthesis. First one. In the leaf. Yes. Sorry? I know. Which one? Yeah, just say. Palisade mesophyll cells, followed by? What else can also photosynthesize? Spongy, right? 1, 2, tell me one difference between palisade mesophyll cells and spongy mesophyll cells. Name me the other. Get ready, you will know what you need to do later. So they are closely packed and arranged in a manner, whereas spongy. So they are what packed? Are they closely packed? So they are loosely packed and arranged in a disorderly manner. Purpose of being loosely packed is for what? Large. Very good. Maybe another difference between pellucid and spongy? Yes. Okay, what's the last cells that can undergo photosynthesis? Gut cells. But gut cells, when they photosynthesize, is it actually to make food for the plant? No. So let's try. In presence of light, 1, 2, 3. First one, describe. In presence of light, how does this gut cells actually help to open or control the size of the stoma? And it's used for? Active
transport of
So,
cells into the gut cell.
yes. Next one. So it lowers water potential gut cells. Continue. So your water will actually flow into the gut cells via osmosis and to pull, because the gut cells has two unique structure features, right, to allow for all this to occur. What is the two unique structure features of gut cells?
The inner wall is stiffer than
What kind of inner wall?
guts.
I know. Inner cellular cell wall. Cell wall, at least must mention cell wall. So the inner cell, what inner cell wall? Oh, the cell wall, okay, closer to the stomata is, okay, in size, right? Agree? Second, contains chloroplasts. Understand? Clear? So let's try, get this in your head. How are you going to describe this double fertilization? Starting from you. First one, stigma secretes a sugary
secretes a sugary fluid that
cause the
causes
pollen
pollen to
germinate. Next one, the tissues of the stigma and the style to grow the pollen. Next one, what happens to the vegetative nucleus along the way? This in the, where's the? Okay, so the pollen tube will eventually grow towards the pulp, right? And then it will absorb cells, sap, and to release into the. Yes, okay, so the first male gamete will fuse with the ovum to form. The second male gamete fuse with the two polar nuclei to form. Very good. Understand? Clear? Okay, come. You take one each. She speak very soundly, yeah. Oh God. Anyway, let's go through. There's one more extra, right? Can pass to me, please. Now, I want to do again one question with you all. Then each of you will do your respective questions for me. So, do you see we have again this question tree? Let's do a question tree right now. So we need to identify each structures A to D. Let's start off with this. Can you tell me right now what A is actually pointing to, Jinfei? What do you think A is actually pointing to? Stamen. Stamen is so many structures together. Please refrain from writing stamen and whatever. Please actually specify in more detail. So it's your anthers. Very good. So A is actually my anthers. My B is pointing to what? Can you tell me, Chloe? So this C is pointing to what, Kayla? Ovule. Okay, because the entire thing then will be called ovary. As you can see, this particular flower seems to have two ovules. Next one, Alyssa, what is this pointing to? So this is actually D is pointing to your stigma. Now, can I say that this flower undergoes, okay, because now they say, from the figure we have to suggest and explain, okay, what type of pollination this flower is going to take place. So can I ask, Jinfei, what do you think this flower is most likely to undergo? cross-pollination, right? So can you tell me why? Kayla, she is right.
Because the stigma is located above the.
Really? Not really. Question, you look at the first diagram. At the first one, your stigma is close to the anthers. Can I say the stigma is located above? No. So what they're trying to insinuate and draw by the first, second, and third flower? Okay, come. Can you now tell me all the factors that promote cross-pollination? First one is what? Located.
The stigma is located above the anther, and then it's a
Stigma is located above the anthers. What else? Second?
dioecious
Plant. So we have dioecious plant. What else? Self-incompatibility. Last one is what? Let's say we happen to have bisexual flower. So which one do you think this flower is most likely to have, so that she says that it's cross-pollinated flower? Yes, because do you see the first flower, the anthers is actually having your this pollen grains ready to be released. But your stigma only matures in the second flower, the second picture down there, alright? Agree? And then the third one, you can see how your this stamen looks like it's actually disintegrated, right? But your this stigma is still above, right? Agree? So this is one thing. So again, the question is, do you see we have from the figure, what must I always do? Chloe? What must I always do when I say from the figure? Code data. Okay, now we know that 1 mark must be what kind of pollination, right? So 3 marks must be for, again, your this type, explain the type of pollination, right? So Chloe, can I ask, do I use the specific keyword technique or is it the overview point technique? Specific keyword technique. Okay, what are the specific keyword? That is the 3 marks. Yes, please don't take drugs, huh? Okay, now again, we have to use our this overview point technique, right? So what did I say for your this overview point technique? Always first sentence is directly just answer, right? So what do you think will be a suitable overview point? So that's why, which is actually only which is going to be unlikely for self-pollination to occur, right? Agree? Do you see this is going to be the first sentence that she mentioned? Alright? But when next, we need to elaborate what? So how am I going to elaborate? How come, right? If they mature at different times, okay? That means you're going to have cross-pollination. So let's try. Chloe, I want you to try. So again, because you say the first sentence is anthers and stigma, okay, mature at different times. So self-pollination is unlikely. So why cross-pollination for the next point then? Because the pollinating insects, so it's what? The insects can? So what happens? How come cross-pollination can occur? So when insects visit the flower, the pollen grains, okay, will actually be collected on the insect bodies, right? From the anthers. So how do you usually describe? Pollen grains are transferred from the anthers to the insect bodies. Hello, you're trying to describe cross-pollination, alright? So pollen grains will be transferred. This is always the typical way we write, right? Pollen grains will be transferred from the anthers to the stigma, anthers to the insect bodies. Agree? Then after that, what must we say after that? The third mark will be what? So when the insect visits another flower, so what happens? Pollen grains can be transferred to the will be transferred to the mature stigma of another flower, bringing about cross-pollination. So do you see, I'm trying to show you how do you usually come up with your overview point technique. So this is a tip. First sentence, just answer directly to the question. Okay? So you all should know already, the first bullet point is just tell me cross-pollination, I'll give you 1 mark. Okay? Second bullet point, again, take note, you just need to tell me the stigma and anthers mature at different times. Okay, in this type of flower, hence self-pollination is unlikely to occur. Hence self-pollination is unlikely to occur. I have never seen someone can sleep so deeply. But anyway, moving on. Third bullet point. When the insects, okay, visit the flower, pollen grains from the mature anthers. I repeat, pollen grains from the mature anthers can be transferred to the bodies of the insect. I repeat, when the insect visit the flower, pollen grains from the mature anthers can be transferred to the bodies of the insect. Last bullet point. When the insect visits another flower, pollen grains can be transferred to the mature stigma for cross-pollination. I repeat, pollen grains can be transferred to the mature stigma for cross-pollination. Okay? Okay, each one of you will do your respective questions for me to mark. Okay? Now, do you see we have, again, question 4 and question 8? Kayla and Alyssa, I want you to do question 4 and question 8. The rest of you, do you see question 5 and question 8? You'll be doing question 5 and question 8 for me. Again, whatever questions I didn't get to go through, later I'll send you the answers.
understand the advantage of reproduction involving flowers.
Okay, so again, flowers is what kind of reproduction? Sexual or asexual? Sexual. So what's the advantage of having sexual reproduction? That's what they're asking. So I want to hear the keyword. Full sentence. What questions is this going to ask? questions asked. can try the other question while we're waiting now. I know, she just texted me. Why you do all? This time you should give me. I asked you to do 5 and 8. You're not doing all question now. Each one of you do 4 and 8 and 5 and 8 okay? People. Okay. Because I still got repro in humans Then Chloe, I will not give you the full marks for your this 8A part 1 because number 1, you need to explain to me this 3 marks is why. First mark is obviously the correct plan, second mark is code data, third mark is actually explain. You know you need to code data because they use based on the information in table 2. So the data that you fail to code is that you never tell me that when there are actually out in the open, we have 29 insect visits, what is the percentage of flowers bearing fruits? It's actually 95%. Because you only code the 0 one. So I don't even care about actually plant A because 1 mark is for explain, 1 mark for code. So you should just plainly code for your this plant B. Your plant B, you did mention that again is dependent on insects. And that one I will give you the credit down there. Okay. So I'll give you at most 2 marks here. Alright, the other one, suggest and explain the student if it's correct or wrong. Again, 1 mark is obviously whether telling me that the student is incorrect, which you got it. So 2 marks is actually explain. So they say that it will produce genetically identical as only one parent is involved. Very good, you at least still mentioned that again. Still dependent on sexual reproduction. What do you mean? Keyword is what? Meiosis still occur. So your missing keyword is that you didn't tell me meiosis is still occurring. Alright, and then not only that, in sexual reproduction, what are the 2 things in sexual reproduction that allows for this? 1 mark, so you know 2 marks is explained, right? 1 mark you tell me meiosis occurs, that means these gametes formed are actually genetically non-identical already, right? Second one is you have random fertilization. So you are missing those key things here. I cannot give you a single mark. Understand? Except for incorrect. Clear? Okay, so please take note. You just mentioned is this similar, I don't care. You understand? You must explain meiosis. So you form genetically non-identical gametes. And then again, you must tell me there is also, last mark, random fertilization of gametes. Understand? Okay? The other one, you say plan C. You are saying that state 1 characteristic it could have. You say large feathery stigma. I accept this part. The other one, part B, they ask for here, compare and contrast, that means similarities and difference, right? Where is your one similarity and one difference? Large amounts of mitochondrion. Chondrion is singular or plural? So many mitochondrion or chondria? They are asking for the structure EULE. The 2 structures. Fine. 2 nuclei your angmoa. Not on flick Okay. No good Please improve your angmoa since you're English or finish English already. Right? Good luck to you. So again, male reproductives of the plant. Sure. I can accept your this difference, but where is your similarity? Compare and contrast means similarity and difference, and then you see there's 4 marks. That means right, 1 similarity, 1 difference, then at least 2 marks for explanation, right? You say you volunteer secretes enzyme that digest tissues of stigma and style to reach ovule through micropore. I'll give you the credit here. The other one you say has flagellum, allows the sperm to be motile so it can swim to the egg for fertilization. I'll give you 3 marks here for your this one. Because you give me 1 difference and then you give me the explanation. Who else? Thank you. Grains is smaller in size. Good. The other one, smooth surface, flat surface. You say this one is pendulous, sway easily in the presence of winds to release pollen grains. Stigma, large and feathery, increase surface area to catch pollen grains in the air. Next one, you say plant B. So again, 1 mark for the correct plant, 2 marks for the explain. 2 marks is 1 mark to code data, 1 mark to explain, right? So you say how without your this insect, percentage of flower bearing fruits is 0. Placed in the garden, it increased to 95%. And there is actually insects. I'll give you 1 mark for your quotation of data. So you tell me it's likely to be insect pollinated, requires insect to transfer pollen grains. I'll give you the credit. Good. Next one, you say no, I'll give you the credit here. Because there is fusion of keyword you are missing is random. So that is always the phrase. Random fusion of gametes. Okay? You want to show that because of it's random, okay, and by chance. So that's why it will increase. But you did mention you also have crossing over of homologous chromosome and independent assortment takes place. Okay? During meiosis, can you please at least write meiosis? Oh, I mean like just now I mentioned now. Okay? So again, I cannot give you the full credit like her, I only give you 1 mark. When pollinated, much better, very similar increase over zero. Both have elongated structure. I will not accept this. Why not say both contain genetic material? Because both have DNA. DNA. Right. Plants also must contain male gametes, must have DNA, right? Or another one is that you can say both contain haploid nucleus, right? For fertilization, because both contain their male gametes. Agree? Elongated structure, 不可以. Not a good one. It's not that it's wrong, it's just not a good one. However, structure produced by male reproductive organ of lesser flagellum. So what is the difference? This is not a difference there. I give you an example of a difference. You can say that this one, this pollen tube actually transfers, okay, your this male gametes. It transfers your male gametes through the pollen tube, alright? Whereas your this sperm here, this is motile. So again, idea is this pollen tube, you can say is a hollow tube to transport your this gametes. Whereas the other one is a motile due to presence of flagellum to swing towards the egg. Understand? Extends itself to allow generative nucleus, which contains male gametes. Seeing extend itself, the idea is how do you even form the pollen tube? What's the phrase that I give you? Vegetative nucleus, secretes. To digest. Yes, this is the right. Not this. Okay. Sperms contain male gamete. To swim towards the egg. Question is, do you need to code? Sorry, they never say specify what U and V is. Must you still specify? I open one eye, close one eye, but you say there's a flagellum here. By right, you're supposed to mention that. Okay? Who else? Quick. Create more. You also your more. Give rise. Increase chances of survival, especially of a species. Hello, you also phrasing mature enter. Yes, flower A has mature enters. So insect. Visit this first and transfer pollen grains to flower B. This one, flower B, second mark, has mature stigma. Okay, I will give you the credit. Flowers in the species have nectary, fine, and nectar guides. Can see that it's large and brightly colored. Where is the bright color? I didn't know you can see color in grayscale. You know exam paper is all grayscale, right? So can you please don't write brightly colored, at least large petals I accept to attract insects. Right? Please don't write things that you can see, cannot see. Okay, first mark B, pollinated by insects. Why? Because you say quotation data, present the insect. Where is the code data? I don't care about this. 1 mark is actually to tell me the quotation of data. Why do you say B is cross-pollination? Then the 1 mark is to explain. I'll give you the credit that is pollinated by insects. Idea is that at least you mentioned that. Again, there is 0% when there is no insects. Okay, fine. However, I never give you the marks for the quotation or data. Understand? You're missing that. No, not correct. Correct. One thing is reproduce, fertilization. Okay, you say only requires one plant to reproduce, fertilization. What is it? What is reproduce, fertilization? Are you also laughing? So what are you writing here? You also don't know ah? Then you don't know, I also don't know leh. So keyword is what? What gives rise to genetic variation? There's still meiosis, which involves crossing over and your independent assortment that just now I drew. Second one is what? There is random fertilization of gametes. Now why meiosis is you must mention that because meiosis will produce genetically non-identical gametes. The gametes not going to be identical already. And then the second one, why must you say random fertilization of gametes? Because random fusion of gametes is a by chance process. Any male sperm or male gamete can fuse with a female gamete. That's why you will form genetically non-identical offspring. You understand? Next one, plant C, wind pollinated, yes, large feathery stigma. Okay, because they ask you just state, then fine. Allows male gamete to reach female through the micropound. It's a tail that keeps the reproductive cell, the sperm moving so it can swim. Both structures aid the male gamete. I think they are looking at structural difference. But okay, fine. Male gamete to reach the female gamete, fine. I'll give you the 1 mark for similarity. Where's your difference? But let's see. First of all, you never tell me the tube. What's the purpose? How do you actually have the tube? Vegetative nucleus, secretes tissues of the stigma and the style to transport the male gamete towards the ovule for fertilization. That is the full way you write. The other one is you mentioned it will move, it can swim towards the female. Yes, can you just say ovum and fuse? Alright, you say swim, I will give you the credit. But where's your difference? I don't see any difference, so I only can give you maximum 2 marks. Okay, come, let's see. And evolving flowers increases GV, yes. Offsprings has greater chance of survival. Not offsprings, the species. You understand? You use the wrong terminology. So I already say it's always increase GV, okay, to increase chances of survival in a species. Clear? Like for example, right, if you just say increase GV, then COVID-19 wipe out some humans. The offspring supposed to have greater chance of survival, but it's the human population, the human species, a greater chance of survival. Contains keyword, you never write, mature enters. Where there is a stigma moves towards flower B. Again, you never mention mature stigma, so kosong. Next one, you say contain nectary and nectar to guide insects, students nectary, fine. The other one. The flowers are large, or the petals are large. Which one? Huh? Yeah, okay, so the petals are. Okay, plant B, no insect that visited plant B, no flowers bearing fruits. And then the 91, again, you never quote the data for the other one, but you say this is dependent on what? Where do you I will not give you the credit because you never specify that B is actually dependent on insects for pollination. Cannot be wind, you know that. You know why? Okay? Because you're already exposed out in the air for B2. So there might be wind, what? Agree? But again, you never quote the data of your 29 insect visits, so you get 95. Okay, you only quote the 0, 0, and you never tell me specifically that it's pollinated by these insects. So I only can give you 1 mark. Incorrect, yes. Due to sexual reproduction, which involves... No, keyword is not just fusion. You must tell me random fusion, like what I already mentioned to her. And another thing, you must say undergo meiosis. And you still must say which involves crossing over, at least crossing over and independent assortments. But at least tell me meiosis will produce non-identical gametes. 知道吗? Then the random fertilization will produce, eventually give rise to genetically non-identical offspring. 知道吗? So because you're missing the keyword, I only can give you 1 mark. Being pollinated. Large and feathery stigma. Okay. Next one. Movement of male gametes. Okay, you say allows male gamete to reach down the style. So idea is that U is non. So again, U is a hollow tube, right? And U only grows out of the pollen grain. No. Idea is that they are asking you how you actually transport, okay, for successful fertilization. So this compare and contrast most likely is asking you for structural differences. You understand? It's not how they differ in the transport of the male gamete. If not, then this other part makes no sense. You will have repetitive answers, right? Remember I say examiners will never give you repetitive answers. So you say the other one, the description, I'll give you the credit. Secret enzymes to digest. The idea is, we're fine. Because 1 mark, I'll give you the credit for the growth of the pollen tube. By the way, you should actually write for the growth of the pollen tube towards the ovule. Okay, to fuse with the egg ovum. The other one, you say requires energy released by mitochondria and sperm to allow sperm to swim. No, you must tell me this propels. Flagellum propels. Okay, so you didn't really describe properly. I will not accept your dissimilarity because if not, then it will be the same as that already. Okay, so at most I can give you 1 mark. Alright, class, let's go through. Any questions that I never go through? Again, I already said I will give you the answers via your group chat. Now, speaking of which, I asked you to do question 4. Please take note. They ask you one advantage of reproduction involving flowers. It means that they expect you to know that flowers will always undergo sexual reproduction. What is the standard answer we tend to write for exam? Kayla? Increase. That will be your first mark. Tell me what's the standard way I teach you to write. To increase.
To increase
chances
of survival.
Especially
during the changes of environmental conditions.
Chances of survival in a what?
In a species.
Yes, okay. Especially during changes in environmental condition. This is the standard answer you tend to write. Understand? I repeat, first one you must state the sexual reproduction helps to increase genetic variation. First mark. Second mark is that you write to increase chances of survival in a species, especially during changes in environmental conditions. Clear? Next one, you need to quote data. So they ask you that why insect must visit flower A first. For me, I need you to specify mature, enter, mature, stigma. Because you can see how in your this enters, right, for flower B is already withered. And then the stigma is still unmatured in your flower A. So I must see the keyword mature, then I can give you the full mark. So 1 mark is that you tell me how flower A has mature enters. So insect needs to visit your flower A for pollen grains, okay, to adhere to the body of insects. So I repeat, insects need to visit flower A where pollen grains can be transferred from mature anthers to the body of insects. Where mature where pollen grains can be transferred from mature anthers to bodies of insects. Second bullet point, before it can be transferred to the mature stigma of flower bee during cross-pollination. Before it can be transferred to the mature stigma, okay, in flower bee during cross-pollination. Next one, code data. So what are some data that we can code? Number one, large petals to serve as landing platform. Okay, large petals is usually to serve as landing platform. Can I write brightly colored? Cannot. Please don't write. It's grayscale. Next one. Another one. What must you mention? You see they already say got nectar. So nectar is found, okay, within the flower. What's the purpose of nectar being found in the flower? So attract insects to collect nectar in order for pollen grains to be transferred to their bodies. That's all. You don't just say attract insects. Some of you, I already give you the credit, it's because I'm being lenient. So again, it's so that insects, alright, can collect nectar for pollen grains to be transferred to their bodies. Next one, for question 5, they ask you to state two differences. You should know already, the pollen grain from plant 1, okay, is usually from this wind pollinated. So what is the difference I can state? Alyssa, because I never get to mark. For you, pollen grain in 1 has smoother, not really smooth, so smoother surface, whereas pollen grain from plant 2 has correct. Okay, always give me point-to-point differences. Next one, what do we also see? Another difference, Killer, because I never get the mark for you. Yes.
The pollen grain
Size.
is bigger in plant 2 than plant 1.
Yes, so again, you can see plant 2 has a larger pollen grain than plant 1. The moment you say larger, I'll give you the credit already. Next one, suggest and explain 2 other structural features besides pollen grain that enables plant 1 to carry out pollination. So plant 1 is wind pollinated, right? So what can we expect, Alyssa? Good. Besides pollen grains. Large. To increase. Yes, okay. So again, 1 mark to tell me large and feathery stigma, 1 mark to increase surface area to catch or trap pollen grains more easily. Next one, what's another structural feature? Stamen.
Stamen is really off.
Hanging out. What's the way I teach you? Protrude and... Oi, do I look like performing Chinese dance for you? So it's what? Pendulous. Why? So what's the purpose for that? To sway.
To sway when there's wind.
And when? And then what? In order to release?
Pollen grain.
Yes. Okay. So it's to release pollen grains, or sway easily to release pollen grains in presence of wind. Understand? Okay, come. Let's go through question 8. Question 8 is something that I want to talk about. Again, you all need to learn how to think about the marks, how they delegate the marks, people. Based on the information, I already said so many times already. You need code data or not? Need. So, again, let's try. For this one, they say that is it going to be plant A or plant B that is more likely to depend on cross-pollination. Hopefully you know all the A1, B1, they are all in the greenhouse, okay? That's why there's 0 insect visits. A2, B2 are out in the open, exposed to insect visits, okay? So we know which one is more likely to be cross-pollination. So it's only your plant B, right? So 1 mark for the plant B, then how about the 2 other marks? 2 other marks should be 1 mark for quotation or data. The other mark is actually to explain. So you just need to tell me and focus about B. To be honest, right, you can to tell me the species B have absence of insect visits and no, okay, flowers blooming, or the percentage of flowers bearing fruit is also 0%. Okay, so what does this indicate? Indicate that self-pollination could not have occurred. So can you write down the first bullet point for your quotation or data? Species B had no insect visits and 0% of flowers bearing fruits, indicating self-pollination could not have occurred. You see the first data and you explain what the data means. The second data you must mention is when left in the garden. So again, the last bullet point, okay, when left in the garden with 29 insect visits, 95% of flowers bear fruits. 95% of flowers bear fruits, indicating it relied on insect pollination. The moment you see the word, you notice how I quote data, I explain the data. I quote data, I explain the data. This is how the marks are delegated. Understand? I repeat again. Second bullet point. Species B and when species B and no insect visits, okay, 0% of flowers bear fruits, indicating self-pollination could not have occurred. Underline the word self-pollination could not have occurred. Next one, when left in the garden, okay, with 29 insect visits, 95% of flowers bear fruit, indicating it relied on insect pollination. Underline insect pollination. 知道吗? Okay, compare your answers and compare this answer right now. Next one, part 2. You should know 1 mark is say that whether you agree or disagree, okay? And then 2 marks is to explain, right? So obviously you should know they will not be genetically identical. So what are the 2 marks? Again, Chloe, what did I mention? Number 1 reason is because sexual reproduction will involve meiosis. Meiosis. Meiosis involves what? Which involves crossing over an independent assortment to form non-identical gametes. Can you write down the first bullet point? Start this question, you use it as studying material. So again, it involves meiosis, where crossing over an independent assortment will form, I repeat, involves meiosis, where crossing over an independent assortment will form non-identical gametes. Last bullet point, random fertilization or fusion of gametes will also give rise to genetically non-identical offsprings. Will also give rise to genetically non-identical offsprings. Here for part 3. Everybody can tell me that is wind pollinated. Everybody can tell me should have large feathery stigma. Okay, or some of you, again, if you mention for this one, notice how I rather choose you to write large feathery stigma to capture pollen grains carried by the wind. Why do I not tend to write, again, let's say you're this pendulous stamen, Kayla? Because you see, C is all about bearing fruits. We do not know whether it's talking about, again, at least bear fruits must have stigma, right? And ovary. So we do not know whether this is a dioecious plant yet. So I rather you all write the large feathery stigma. Okay? Next one. Let's ask for B. Because you all did compare and contrast. That means similarity and differences, right? So how many marks for the similarity and differences, and how many marks for my this explain how the structures allow for successful fertilization? Jinfei?
What?
Oh, what? I mean for part B. How are the 4 marks delegated?
One similarity and one difference.
And then
And
2 for
2 for X.
yeah lor. So I don't know why some of you tell me the similarity and difference is about how the functional difference and similarity. If you talk about functional difference and similarity, isn't it answering your next part already? Examiners will never ask for repetitive answers, right? So the similarity and difference is most likely going to be structural differences. What? Agree? So what is one first structural similarity that I can state, Kayla?
Both structures help the meal can be used with the
So is that a functional or a structural difference? It's a functional. So okay, I just already mentioned I don't want functional. So can you now tell me what's a structural feature that is similar between these two structures? They both contain genetic material. Oh, next one. They both contain haploid nucleus. You all know what haploid is, right? Means what, Alyssa? Contain set of chromosomes. Understand? So you either tell me they both contain haploid nucleus or you say they both contain genetic material. I will accept. Okay? Next one. What is the difference, Chloe?
Contains 2 nuclei, but the one on the right only contains
Sperms contain?
1 nucleus.
Yes, very good. So again, another difference you can write is that your this figure 12, which is actually your germinating pollen grain, contains again 2 nuclei, while your this sperm only contains 1 nucleus. Okay, there's a difference. Now, you should know already how you're going to mention for structure U. Must you still identify what structure U is, Jinfei? Structure U is? And then V? Yes, okay. So you must take note now, 1 mark for the U. So again, how do you typically write? So you must say the pollen tube, bracket, okay, U, alright, has vegetative nucleus to secrete what? Enzymes to digest the tissues of the style and stigma, alright, in order to transport male gametes to the ovule for fertilization. So I repeat, they contain vegetative nucleus to secrete enzyme to digest tissues of stigma and style, to transport male gametes to the ovule for fertilization. Last bullet point. Flagellum. Mention the word flagellum. Bracket V. Helps propel the sperm towards the egg for fertilization. Helps propel the sperm towards the egg for fertilization. Or you can say swim towards the egg for fertilization. My question is, where will fertilization occur in humans, Kayla? Oviduct. And then we have your this uterus. What happens there? Okay, come. Whenever you're ready, take out your this notes for reproduction in humans. Ready? Fire up. For reproduction in humans, you need to know the structures. First is the structures of my this ovum. Alright, and then the next one is the structure of your this male gamete called your this sperm. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the first difference between your this ovum and your sperm?
The sperm is motile while the ovum is not.
But ovum can actually move, right? How, Jinfei?
The ciliar
Lining along the?
oviduct to see the ovum.
Okay, along in order to be fertilized by the sperm. Understand? Next one. What you see? Oh, Oh, okay. And sperm
Very small.
is the smallest. Next one. How many? Ovum always contains one X chromosome. Whereas sperm? Very good. Next one. Any more difference? Got right? What else? Ah, so your sperm is externally differentiated into a oh,
middle piece.
oh neck, neck also can, and then tail. Understand? So again, head, neck, tail. My question is, ready? Can you tell me, your this head here contains two things. What's the two things that the sperm's head contains? So we have the acrosome. What does acrosome actually do?
Secret enzyme to digest
The?
zona.
You all learn zona pellucida in school. Okay, that's good. Zona pellucida. Alright, and no, I mean like, what else? You also have a haploid nucleus. Understand? So take note down. I have also similarities I gave you, alright? So let's try. Satu dua. What's the first similarity between the ovum and the sperm? And then another similarity? Sorry? Okay, I also can accept. Alright, for humans. Clear? Now, question. Which is the organ that actually produces your this ovum? You look down and you ask yourself. Sorry? Ovary is known as the endocrine and exocrine gland, right? Explain to me why ovary is an endocrine gland. Estrogen directly into the bloodstream. Why is it an exocrine gland?
It produces and releases the egg
Into the?
ovum.
Yes, must tell me it's via a duct. Next, what is the organ that produces the sperm? Testes is also known as an endocrine and exocrine gland. Explain why is it an endocrine gland? Why is it an exocrine gland? Via a? Very good. When the sperms are actually secreted by the testes, right, it will enter your this sperm duct, right? These sperms are initially inactive, right? They must pass through one particular gland that will actually secrete your this seminal fluid directly into the blood, into the sperm duct. Can you tell me what is that particular gland called? No. Start with P. Prostate gland. So prostate gland secretes seminal fluid, right? Satu, dua, tiga. Functions of the seminal fluid. And
activates sperm to.
oh yes, I think so. Nourishes and activates the sperm, right? What else?
Protects the sperm
Against
against the acidic environment of the
urethra.
urethra.
Why? Due to presence of urine. Okay, yes, urine. Next, you do facilitate. Oh. Okay, just now she also mentioned, okay, so we know that once you actually enter out through the urethra, during sexual intercourse, you will deposit it into the vagina, right? So my question is, again, we know this ovary will actually release your this mature ovum, okay, into the oviduct, but we also learn ovaries also secrete estrogen and progesterone, right? Can I ask? Ready? Satu, dua, tiga. Functions of the estrogen. Functions of estrogen. Yes. Stimulates what again? Wrong. Not in high concentration. In high concentration, when estrogen is in high concentration, it inhibits a particular hormone instead, which is what? FSH stands for Hormone, because follicle stimulating hormone causes the development of your these follicles, right? So what is the way I ask you to write for exam? When in high concentration, inhibits release of from the. So that's why you want to prevent further maturation of follicle cells. Next one. Oh, sorry. Next one. Grow. Because during this stage is what stage? If this is day 0, Chloe? Okay. So you can see how you see estrogen levels are increasing. Rib, back, and roll the uterine lining. Again, what does it do? Prepare, grow. Yes, last one. The release of luteinizing from the pituitary gland that will cause or bring about what? When luteinizing hormone is in high amounts, it will bring about the next stage, which is what? It is around here. So it's what?
Ovulation.
Yes, okay. Ovulation usually occurs in day 14. Alright, where you release the egg. So, again, how do you write again?
Stimulate the pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone
That will cause?
that will cause ovulation.
Okay, next one, progesterone. Satu dua. So we know progesterone initially is low. So when will actually progesterone increase?
After the luteinizing hormone is secreted.
So again, so this is actually my progesterone. After your luteinizing hormone is secreted, because this will actually allow the formation of what in the ovary that releases progesterone. Start with C. Corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is the one that secretes progesterone, right? I'm asking for functions. So first function of progesterone is what? The way you all write from now onwards is maintain and further thickens. Further thickens. Understand? So again, what? The to prepare. Second one, high concentration of progesterone will so you can prevent further ovulation as well as further maturation of follicle cells. Right? What are the two functions of progesterone?
Maintains and further thickens uterine.
Very good. Two. Prepare.
And further to prepare for implantation.
Of the? And next one.
Further inhibits the growth and maturation of follicle cells.
Okay, very good. So again, take note because they prevent release of FSH and LH. Question. Can you tell me, we also have a period called fertile period. When is usually the fertile period of the female?
11 to 16.
Why?
Because sperms can live up 3 to 5 days.
Upon? During sexual intercourse, right?
Yeah.
Then, second?
The woman can survive 2 to 3 days. So
After?
After
Ovulate.
ovulation.
So, then the next thing, what must you write? Any?
Any sexual intercourse
During?
this period would
Can bring about?
can bring about high likelihood of pregnancy.
Very good. Now, question. Does this female look pregnant right now? Why? And progesterone levels seems to start to decrease, right? Why? Why will the progesterone? I know she's not pregnant now. So what happens if she's not pregnant? What happens to the corpus luteum eventually? Yes, corpus luteum will degenerate, right? So remember, corpus luteum is the one that secretes progesterone and some estrogen. That's why they rise. Agree? But again, beyond your this day 28, If there is no fertilization, corpus luteum eventually degenerate, and that's why your this progesterone and estrogen levels decrease. If the woman is actually pregnant, okay, that means there is successful fertilization, right? During successful fertilization, how come the corpus luteum will not degenerate? Why? I'm asking why the corpus luteum will not degenerate. Because the embryo that forms, right, what happens? When you found the embryo? No, the embryo releases what? That prevents the degeneration of the corpus luteum. So the embryo actually releases, again, the hormone. You all see on this page, this is actually on your this fourth bullet point, okay? So again, the hormone is called HCG. But you just need to take note, you just need to say that the embryo releases a hormone that will prevent the corpus luteum from degenerating. Why do you need to actually prevent the corpus luteum from degenerating once you have an embryo, Alyssa? Because you need to allow time for to be formed. Yes, because when you have actually the embryo, you still have yet to form the placenta, right? But you still need to make sure your this uterine lining is thick, right? For a proper implantation of the embryo. Usually, can you tell me, Jinfei, what are the two conditions for the ideal implantation of the embryo? Progesterone levels must be high. And then what else? Uterine lining is the thickest. You understand? Okay, question. Can you tell me? The moment I actually form your placenta, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the functions of the placenta? So this is when your embryo has firmly implanted into the uterine lining and you start to form the placenta. To? From the? To the? Fetal. Oh no, she in 3G mode. I think my Wi-Fi here very strong. Why you want bar only? So it's what there? From first one, it allows the exchange of dissolved food substances and nutrients or oxygen from maternal blood to fetal blood. Okay, and then also must mention, it also allows for the exchange of product from the quick one. Can you tell me from which particular umbilical vessel will you transport excretory waste products from the fetus to the mother? Umbilical artery. Then umbilical vein transports what kind of blood? With your this nutrients. Understand? From your this mother to the fetus. Okay. Second function of the second function of the placenta is what? Yes. Produces pearl to maintain uterine. Yes, next one. Allows to the why? Sure. But also to fight infections and disease. Let's try. 1. What is the first function of the antibody? To increase rate of. Very good. Next one. To produce by. Neutralize toxins produced by pathogens. Understand? Next one. Of. Because cell lysis. And then she say confer immunity. Okay? Now function of placenta. No, serve as a barrier. Okay, so you prevent direct mixing of maternal blood from fetal blood, right? There are two reasons I gave, right? 1, 2. What's the first reason why? Must prevent the mixing of maternal blood from the fetal blood. To prevent mixing of what? What I want to hear, I'm very interested now. So it's what? Why must I prevent mixing of maternal blood from fetal blood? Because maternal blood pressure, huh?
Maternal blood pressure is higher.
Then your fetal blood, which will cause
Damage to
the fetal tissues, right? If there's direct mixing. What is deoxygenated? Are you sure deoxygenated? No, right? So again, why? So with more fluency, because maternal blood pressure is, which will, to the
tissues.
of the fetus. Understand? So we cannot allow mixing. Second reason, due to
So mother and the fetus got different blood types. So
prevent.
uncoordination of blood.
Yes, that will be tissue rejection. Understand? Now, question is, when you form the placenta is just the site where you have your maternal and paternal, maternal and fetal blood capillaries, right? So when I actually have your this particular structure that will enclose your this fetus, this is going to be surrounded by a particular fluid. The fetus is going to be surrounded by a particular fluid called what? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Functions of amniotic fluid. Is what? It will support, protect, and absorb shock from and protect the fetus from mechanical injury. Again, how do you say right in exam with more fluency and charisma? So it's what? Supports, absorbs shocks, and protects against the fetus against. Second one. Allows the fetus. Two more. Okay, during development. Next one.
So allow them to move freely.
讲了. So what's 讲了? So it's what? What else? It's what? Oh, what is the thing for? Aiyo. So again, is think about this. During birth, what happens? The fluid is also to help to during childbirth. Understand? So take note about this. Okay, now next one. Because you study your this bio, you must study the related disease. Oh, I forgot to mention. Now just now, right, we talk about your this what do I want to say? Oh, I can't remember now. Never mind. Let's talk about the related disease. Can you tell me what's the related disease for Repro in humans? AIDS. So AIDS stands for what?
Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome.
So this is actually acquired immunodeficiency disease. Huh? Wait, what? Deficiency syndrome. Yes, correct. Can you tell me it's caused by what particular virus? This disease is caused by what? Infection of what virus? HIV stands for what? Human immuno. Tell her, please. Yes. Kayla, you would tell me two differences between the virus and the bacteria now. Because it's a virus, right? What will be one difference?
Is a living cell, while virus is not a living cell.
Okay, question. Can you tell me, Alyssa, why is virus not considered living? What else is also? Again? Very good. So, again, name me another difference.
Bacteria only contains DNA, while
Wait, DNA, yes. Wow.
virus can contain DNA or RNA.
Name me another difference between virus and your this bacteria. So virus requires a host cell to replicate, while bacteria replicate via. Okay, question is, your this human immunodeficiency virus, they mainly infect what particular type of cells in the body? HIV attacks what cells? Infects what cells? That's why it's called human immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency. Your immune system has been deficient in its activity. In fact, what cell? Okay, in particular, lymphocytes. Understand? So again, in this HIV virus and the AIDS, you are expected in syllabus to know what are the signs and symptoms and what is the causes for the transmission. Oh, first one. What is the cause? What is the signs and symptoms? Name me two. Two. Okay, pneumonia can also be caused by another type of bacteria, right? Called what? Oh, pneumonia, influenza. Then I say bacteria, you tell me influenza. So it's what? Caused by what? Yes, pneumococcal what? Yes, pneumococcal bacteria. So you also can cause your pneumonia, right? How do you actually transmit this pneumococcal bacteria? Via yes, correct. Respiratory secretions. Remember, Okay, next one. Can you tell me right now what's another signs and symptoms of AIDS then? Besides tuberculosis and pneumonia? Start with the capital letter K. Sarcoma. What is that? No shit, I also know cancer, but what cancer of what? Of your blood. Understand? So it's cancer of the blood. What are you chanting? Can you now tell me what is another sign and symptom of your AIDS here besides Kaposi sarcoma? So it's what? So it's what here? We also have for females, Sylvie. What kind of cancer? Cervical cancer. Understand? Okay, come. Can you tell me 2 ways, 1, 2, in which you can transmit HIV from one person to another? Blood transfusion of an infected person or unprotected sexual intercourse with an infected person. You all must always write infected person, right? Because influenza, there's also another way of transmission, right? How do we transmit influenza virus? When it? Who is the someone? Yeah, coughs. Achoo. Achoo. Yes. Sneezes and then yes, that's why how we also can transmit. Okay, so take note. Now, next one, can I ask how is ways that we can actually minimize transmission for HIV? They already tell you.
Refrain from sharing needles.
Okay, contaminated needles. Okay, what else? Can be another one. Abstain from sexual intercourse or banning blood transfusion of any person that has AIDS. Understand? So that is by law. So take note about that. Clear? Okay, come. Now, let's ask. Where's mine? Can you help me pass down? Each one take one, please.
Wait, do you know the cancer of blood vessels?
Sorry again?
Do you know the cancer of blood vessels?
It's just need to know that it exists, that's all. Okay? Just say Kaposi sarcoma and stuff like that. Okay, come. Why? Cancer lah. Okay, cancer means your uncontrollable cell division. Now, I want to do a particular question together with you all, that each one of you will do your respective questions for me to mark. Okay, do you see we have here this question 4? So let's do together question 4. Because I have yet to go through this umbilical cord, I'll use this time to also just revise on this chapter. Now, again, let's say that you have here this cell X, alright? What is cell X going to refer to, and what is the physiological process to lead to its formation, Chloe? What's cell X pointing to? Do you see a sperm? It will move towards the ovum, and eventually the arrow to become cell X. Zygote. So what is the physiological process to form the zygote called? So this is called fertilization. Very good. Next one, compare and contrast means similarities and differences, right? Can I ask? This is 3 marks. They say compare and contrast process A. Can I ask what is process A first, Alyssa? Sorry? Mitosis. Very good. Can I ask? In this case, in mitosis, they ask me to compare and contrast mitosis with the process that takes place to produce the sperm and ovum. What is the process that takes place to produce the sperm and ovum called? Meiosis. So again, in this meiosis part, what is the similarity and differences between meiosis? This is 3 marks. I mentioned this before. Let's ask Tinfei, can you tell me? If this is an odd number, how many similarities, how many differences do I typically want? 2 what? Oh, okay. So I need at least 1 similarity, 1 difference. The other 1 mark can be either an extra similarity or difference. Okay? So obviously there are more than 1 mark of similarity and differences, right? So let's go through as a revision. Starting with you, Tinfei, what is 1 similarity you can state between them? They're both involving cell. Yeah, so to form more cells, what, right? Agree? So both involve formation of more cells, or again, both are part of cell division. Or again, both involve DNA, 1 round of DNA replication, what, right? Agree? Do I need to actually have at least 1 round of DNA replication during interphase? Yes, what? Okay. Next one, differences. Can you tell me what is some differences that I can have? I gave you a lot last time, huh? So what are some differences that I have? Caleb? Difference number 1 is how many cell division per cycle for mitosis? How many cell division per cycle for meiosis?
Meiosis is 2.
And then?
Mitosis is 1.
Very good. Next one, meiosis can produce how many daughter cells, Chloe? Meiosis always produce 4 daughter cells, okay, per cycle, whereas mitosis will always produce how many? You know what? Let's do it as a revision then. How you all know. Okay, mitosis, meiosis. Let's revise. I went through this before, I'm going through again. So first difference is we always have 1 cell division per cycle. Divide only once. This one you will have actually 2 cell divisions per cycle. Okay? Another difference we can talk about is the mitosis will actually form 2 daughter cells at the end of mitosis. Alright, the other one, you will form how many daughter cells? 4 daughter cells. Alright, another difference between mitosis and meiosis, Alyssa? Let's help you. Again, which one have genetic variation? Meiosis, right? So, because we can say how daughter cells are genetically non-identical, or gametes are genetically non-identical. Whereas here we can say how the daughter cells are genetically identical. Next one, can you tell me, Tinfei, the number of chromosomes, which one will change? And change by how much? Decrease by half, right? Half, right? Okay, so chromosome number halved in daughter cells. Sun cells. What is sun cells? S-U-N?
S-O-N.
S-O-N. Sun cell?
She say cause got double cells.
Oh no, we are very sexist. But anyway, moving on. So don't have. Say no to boys. Okay, but anyway, chromosome number, okay, maintain in dollar cells. So yes, there's no sun cells. You call it Mother Earth what? Do you call it Father Earth? No, right? So we are sexist. But anyway, moving on. Another one we can talk about is no need to know the details. But if you want to talk about, again, talking about crossing over, independent assortment, so you can say how crossing over and independent assortment occurs in meiosis, but there is no crossing over and independent assortment in mitosis. Okay? So any, okay, 1 to 2 differences on the board, you can actually write that in your answer. Okay, anyway, moving on. Whenever you're ready, they say the embryos will develop and be born to grow as adults. Suggest one way in which they will be identical to each other and explain your answer. So by the way, baby 1 and baby 2, they are coming from the same exact zygote. Will they be twins, Jinfei?
Yes.
But the question is, will they be identical twins or fraternal twins? Fraternal twins also can come about, let's say, from the same mother at the same time you have one boy, one girl. That can be a fraternal twins. Or maybe they are same gender, but you realize even though they are born at the same time, almost at the same time, okay, they actually look very different from each other. Identical twins, from the name itself, it already says they look almost like each other. Okay, so my question is, Jinfei, will they be identical twins or fraternal twins? Yes, ponder. – 50% of getting it right, so it's what? 9? Huh? I'm asking whether is it identical twins or fraternal twins. Then you yes me. What is yes? Yes is to what? Identical or fraternal? Yes, they are identical twins. Understand? Okay, so now with that, right, they are saying suggest one way. Why? Because again, one way in which they will be identical. So what are some ways do you think they will have or have in common? They must have the same skin color. Hello, we learn. Okay, come, let's tell her how come cannot write skin color. Skin color is what kind of variation? Continuous. So what can we say about the continuous variation? That's why I cannot accept skin color. Can be affected by what? Environmental factors. Okay, so usually we cannot say directly the same. Okay, so again, can you give me something that is much more for discontinuous variation, because it's clear cut and it will confirm be identical all the time? Do you know identical twins, let's say they are grown in different places. One, let's say one grown in a very sunny area, very outdoorsy, and the other one is always indoor. Skin color will be the same or not, even though they're identical. I know, right? Okay, so what is one way? Give me one. Sure, I can accept. The blood type must always be the same. Okay, they cannot have a different blood group. Another one I can accept, gender. Another one I can accept is like, again, your what else?
Can you say hair color? Okay.
Try to refrain from writing that, okay? So gender, blood group, things like that, okay? Now, the question is, you need to explain why, right? Because maybe different, slightly different shade. So try to refrain. I say that by right can we can say eye color, hair color, but for me, for your exam, try to refrain from writing all those, okay? But we need to explain, right? My answer. So 1 mark for the state, 1 mark for explain, because both arises from the same zygote that undergoes mitosis. Hence, they will be genetically identical to each other. They both arise from the same zygote. Okay, come. Identify P and Q. Chloe, what is P? How many umbilical arteries do we have, dear? So Q is your umbilical arteries. Okay, come, 1, 2. What is the two differences between umbilical arteries and umbilical vein, Alyssa? Then your umbilical arteries, fine, I accept. What's the second difference I can say? Different? Umbilical vein contains, sorry? Contains? Vein.
Oxygen.
Sammy. Luna.
Wow.
Ah, yes. Okay, so the umbilical vein contains valves, while the umbilical artery will not contain valves, right? Fine, if you want to write that the umbilical vein transports what kind of blood? Kayla? Oxygenated blood. Okay, while umbilical arteries transport deoxygenated blood, I also will give you the credit. Next one, let's see. Here's 1 mark. During pregnancy, the umbilical cord for embryo 1 was partially blocked. Suggest how this will affect the fetus compared to embryo 2. So, between embryo 1 and embryo 2, what will happen to fetus 1 compared to fetus 2 development, Chloe?
Embryo 1 have a slower development. Embryo 2.
So, fetal, okay, fine. The idea is they are asking for how will this affect, right? What do you mean by slower development? Because they receive what?
Lesser nutrient.
Yes, for growth. Okay, so hence, I rather you write embryo 1 will have a slower growth than embryo 2 due to lesser nutrients received. Second one is I also can accept is what, Alyssa, besides slower growth? Fetus 1 or embryo 1 may. Why? Due to insufficient? Yes, correct, for growth. Okay, so either you tell me slower growth, okay, because you receive less nutrients, or you can tell me will die because of receive insufficient oxygen. Okay, now each one of you will do your respective questions, but before I forget, can you help me start this once right now? You see 1A part 1. Circle 1A part 1. Circle 1C. Circle your this question 2C. Please also circle your this question 3D, 3D part, 3C, sorry, 3C. Alright, next one, please also help me circle your this question 5B. Circle also for me here this question 6D part 2. Alright. Please also circle question 7C part 1 and part 2. Next one, circle for me your this 10A. Alright, the rest of it you can use this as study material as well. Okay, now each one of you to do your respective question, just one question, okay, before I take note. Do you see we have again your this question 6? Kayla and Melissa do question 6 for me. The rest of you, do you see we have question 7? Please complete question 7 for me. Any questions that then we're going to go through? I will send you the answers via your group chat.
Hello, this is day 21. This ovulating is again, I can accept here, day 13. But this is here, I will not accept because it's clearly day 21. You do the math. Okay? Very remain high, fine, I'll accept.
Wait, can you quote it after the question?
You mean for question part C? Yeah?
That's what data would quote.
As long as you tell me beyond day 28 lah. Okay, even after day 28. So your remain tick for what?
Plantation of Frank.
Yeah, please always mention that. Again, you say there's greater vascular network. What do you mean greater vascular network? Larger surface area, dear. That's the phrases. Okay. There will be smaller in size. You want to say less developed, slower growth. Okay, fine. I accept. But smaller in size will give you the credit. And then you just need to explain smaller vascular network, smaller surface area volume ratio. Receive less nutrients. Fine. You say receive less nutrients, I will give you the credit. Day 14, day 21. Ovary. Concentration of estrogen and progesterone will remain high. Oh, what do you mean after day 21? Oh. Fine. Next one. How about the uterine lining? Because they ask you what will happen also. So, uterine lining, why must you remain high? Yeah, so you must make sure to keep the thickness or maintain and further thicken the uterine lining for implantation of embryo. Okay? So, idea is because why? Until the placenta is formed. Huh? What thicken? Form. You understand? So the placenta develops to maintain. Wait, you say that if pregnancy occurs, secrete enzyme that prevents the degeneration of corpus luteum. Okay. So prevents the degeneration of corpus luteum, which continue to produce high levels of estrogen and progesterone. Keyword is until before the placenta develops. I'll give you 1 mark for that. You say to maintain the thickness of uterine lining with this, I'll give you the full 3 marks. More branch. Greater surface area is the keyword I'm looking for. Yes. Fetal growth is faster. Fine, I accept. More developed. So allows for higher surface area for diffusion of nutrients. So you receive more nutrients. I accept with this answer. So infertile, yes. So idea is will not be developed. Improper development of sperms, fine. Yes, it's not semen, it's called seminal fluid. Do you know why? Semen is a mixture of sperms. So if you write semen, that means you also secrete sperm. Wow, then that's too viral already, this guy. So again, next one, You say provides nutrients for the sperms and activates that, protects against acidic environment of urethra due to urine, okay, lubricates the vagina during intercourse for swimming with sperms. Okay, accept. Next one. Question in part C, part 1. So, thus, testosterone can still be secreted directly into the bloodstream. Your English doesn't go. Testosterone levels will not be affected. Yes, I will accept for your answer. Okay. Next one. HIV is transmitted via bodily fluids with an infected person. Very good. So one way he can do is fine. Sure. Okay, come. Last one. Then I can quickly discuss. So what will happen to the man? Number one, you must tell me what will happen to the man. The man will be sterile or infertile. And then the keyword you're looking for is not lesser production of sperm. The sperms will actually be underdeveloped or not well developed. Okay, you understand? Seminal fluid is one. You know what you just write about seminal fluid? It flourishes and activates the sperm. You know what flourish means? Wow, the sperm can actually mature and flourish. Wow, I will be very shook. So, now you know, please write properly in exam. Don't get used to write English. Protects the sperm against acidic condition of urethra due to the presence of urea in the semen. Yeah, nourishes, not flourishes. That's not reduces its testosterone levels. As this can still secrete directly in bloodstream. Yes, very good. Conducts are cut and carry. Why? I will not accept this. How come he can? I know he can still carry out sexual intercourse, but how is HIV actually transmitted? Yeah. How do you transmit HIV? Via exchange of what? Yeah, I highlight. You understand? Okay, so this is the keyword you're missing. Is abstains from yes. Alright? Come, can I go through, girls? Obviously, whatever questions I never get to go through, again, I say already, I will send you the answers, okay, so you can use that as a studying material. Girls, I want to go through question 6. Now, for those who never get full marks for question 6A, give yourself a mental slap. It's just open your eyes and see carefully. Now, answer for you, this 6A I will accept is, when is she ovulating? If you say from day 13 to day 14, I will kind of accept here. The moment I see your this progesterone levels are rising, she is by right should be ovulating. Understand? Okay? Now, because once you ovulate, you will form your corpus luteum already. And then your corpus luteum is the one that secretes progesterone, alright? That's why. Clear? Now, the thing is, do you see for part C is 3 marks here? So for this particular 3 marks, let's ask. This isn't explained. I mean, like this is actually using the information suggest and explain, right? So 1 mark for suggest, okay? 2 marks for explain, right? Agree? So for this suggest, I need to code data, right? Agree? So what is the data do I quote? So your this estrogen and progesterone levels, you will tell me, will remain high even if you write even after day 21, or you say even after day 28, I will give you the credit because that is the clear-cut difference. However, explain is worth 2 marks. My question is this based on the keyword technique or the overview point technique, Chloe? Because I didn't get to mark for you for this. What is your keyword? Overview point. What's your overview? You sure? Make up your mind. So it's like, oh, keyword. What's your keyword?
hate overview.
Yes. Okay, so again, how come is this going to be based on the overview point technique? Because you need to explain how come progesterone and estrogen levels will remain high. Okay, so if she's actually pregnant, embryo can secrete what, Chloe? CG, or you can say secrete a hormone that will prevent, which can continue to secrete estrogen and progesterone. Second mark is what? Elaborate. Why must continue to secrete estrogen and progesterone? And further, okay, for implantation of the embryo. Okay, clear? So can you help me write down the first one? So obviously the first one is to code data. So the progesterone and estrogen levels will remain high even after day 28. Will remain high even after day 28. Okay? First bullet point is explained. So you say that how embryo secretes a hormone that prevents degeneration of corpus luteum. Secretes a hormone that prevents degeneration of corpus luteum to secrete estrogen and progesterone, to secrete estrogen and progesterone until placenta is formed. To secrete estrogen and progesterone until placenta is formed. Second bullet point is to explain and elaborate. Remember the overview point. So how do I actually elaborate? To maintain and further thicken the uterine lining. To maintain and further thicken the uterine lining for the implantation of the embryo. Maintain and further thicken the uterine lining for the implantation of the embryo. Understand? Next one, let's see. So they say that, again, what is the difference? Please take note, it's called surface area. This is your placenta, ma. So it's surface area. The key will always regard yourself as surface area. Don't tell me greater vascular network. Do you see it's more spread out for B? So again, the keyword, as long as you tell me B has, the vascular network of B has larger surface area than A, I'll give you 1 mark already. But the keyword is surface area. Next one. They say suggest an account. That means explain, right? No. So 1 mark for suggest and 1 mark for explain. So what is the suggestion for the fetal growth and development? It will have slower or faster, Timfei? Slower fetal growth and development in A than B. Okay? Reason why? There's 2 answers I will accept. Either you tell me, again, is that fetus in A, alright, will receive less nutrients, or you can say there's slower rate of diffusion of nutrients for growth and development. Okay, so fetus in A will receive less nutrients or slower rate of diffusion for growth and development. Very simple, huh? Okay, come, let's do question 7. Question 7, please take note, they're asking again, explain what is the consequence if you fail to descend of a body of the adult man. This one we use overview point technique or keyword technique, Kayla? So? What will happen to the man? Man will be infertile. Yes. Either you say man is infertile and sterile, that was your first overview point. Then after that, we need to further elaborate, right? Because why? Sperms produced are not well developed or will not be developed. Okay? When temperature of testis is same as body temperature. Okay, what's the fluid? Alyssa, whenever you're ready. Your head. Why cannot write semen? Oh, seminal fluid. Okay, cannot write semen now because semen means you mix up with your sperms. Next one, they say state the importance. I'm not going to go through. I expect all of you all to know the importance already. Let's see part 1. You see he's hesitant as his fear his surgery will reduce his testosterone levels. Why is it irrelevant? So again, why is the fear unnecessary? Because we use the overview point technique, a keyword technique, overview point technique as well. So can you tell me, Kayla, what's the first overview point? Remain unchanged, sure. Why? So the testes, so what do you think? I know, I'm saying that the first overview point is correct, right? Then how you elaborate from overview point? Testes can still secrete directly into the there. You see the technique? So learn this, okay? So again, I repeat. So you can say his testosterone levels will remain unchanged. Second bullet point, elaborate from there, because testes can still secrete testosterone directly into bloodstream. Next one, explain why this is an incorrect assumption. So, Chloe, why incorrect, dear?
HIV can still be transmitted
Meted via
via bodily
during sexual intercourse. Understand? So again, is that HIV can still be transmitted via exchange of bodily fluids during sexual intercourse with an infected person. Underline infected person. There are two answers I will accept. Either you tell me how do you actually prevent, abstain from sexual intercourse, or you can say wear condoms to prevent direct contact between penis and vagina. Okay? Mm.
It affects reproduction. Don't do that.
Actually can. Fine, I will accept for 1 month. Okay? So affects sperm or there's lesser, wait, not lesser. There will be no sperms. My bad. Cannot lesser production. There will be no production of viable sperms. Okay? Okay, but anyway, again, I already gave you the answer sheet via answer key via your group chat. You can use this as a studying material. A tip for your exam on Friday. Friday, right? Okay, whenever you do any question, always ask yourself which particular subtopic the question is asking. Especially for explain questions, I say already, always have the habit of asking yourself, is it the overview point technique or the keyword technique? Understand? Always look at the number of marks and see how the marks are delegated. If they write with reference to, I always must do what? Code data. Understand? And remember the key things that I always emphasize in class. Alright? With that, all the best, good luck, sayonara. Now,